Alright, well, thank you guys for joining us. This is the Hell's Revenge video, part 4 of 4 of the Moab series. First off, just want to say thank you for everybody who watching and subscribe to the channel. From the get-go, this trail kind of sets the tone with this large fin. Something I did before I went on this trail is I had a front-facing camera reinstalled. After the front bumper, I had to get the new one put in. That made this trail a lot easier. Make sure it's turned the right way, so your right's right and your left's left. But anyway, yes, so this was a lot easier to do with that, because that way it takes a little bit less anxiety, especially for a first timer doing this trail. This could be something that kind of stresses you out if you're not used to it. Anyway, sit back and enjoy. Hope you liked the video, and we'll see you later. One unique part to this trail is the fact that they have a little section here at the front where you can look at Dinosaur Tracks. Pretty cool addition if you ask me. Alright, here's one of the first of many steep inclines. This is one of the areas I was talking about earlier. When you're going up one of these, sometimes, well, I should say this camera doesn't do it justice because this GoPro is mounted on the roof. But sitting in the driver's seat, you can't see nothing but blue sky on some of these inclines. So it's a pretty neat feeling, but it's also can be kind of probably a little anxiety as well. Like I said before, front camera comes in very handy in a situation like this. But this is a great experience. Something I should probably mention in this video, the entire trail I only used 8-track and 4-low, never went with the rear full lockers. So just so people want to know, you know, can you do this in 8-track? I did. I have an off-road premium, so I could have used the rear lockers, but I decided not to and didn't have very minimal trouble. While on Hill's Revenge, we had the pleasure of meeting Vaughn Gittin Jr. and Lauren Healy, both professional drivers, and they both had new Broncos. Very beautiful rigs. Definitely would consider one in the future. They also helped with the spotting on Hell's Gate, so I appreciate it very much. Hell's Gate, the infamous Hell's Gate. Just a few words of advice for myself. Going down for me was rougher. For side-by-sides, maybe not so much, but I did scrape the sliders and the rear bumper going down. Also, in this video, as I mentioned earlier, I only used 8-track. And it did it very well, as you'll see later. The main thing I would advise is try to follow the V on the way up when you're coming out. You know, put it in 4-low, bring the gearing all the way down to low, and if you have a pedal commander like I do, put it on eco and just let the truck do its job. As I just mentioned, my main advice for coming up this is try to straddle the V in the rock. Take your time, listen to your spotters, and you should be fine. If you do mess up, don't panic. Listen to your spotters and they'll help you get out of it.
Just back up with just a tick and then lock it up.
Back up a little bit.
Right there.
There you
Right
go.
there. Right there.
Vaughn, Lauren, if you're ever watching this, just know that I am sorry I got that close. Glad I didn't want to have to buy a new Bronco before everybody else did. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for your help. Right here, you would want to turn left if you want to avoid the second half of this trail. Going right here like we did, you run into a lot of more challenging obstacles. I wouldn't suggest it unless you have steel bumpers, full skids, and some good spotters, unless you're just really well versed or proficient in off-road driving on these rocks. Some of the spots were very heavy. We had to stack a lot of rocks. My two friends, their rigs weren't quite as lifted as mine, and they didn't have the rear steel bumpers, so we had to take it quite easy, and we had to stack plenty of rocks. And this way doesn't go out the same way you come in. So if you turn left back there, you would go out the same way you come in, right beside the big fin. Just takes you out on a side street outside of the recreational area. So just word of advice. This is probably the scariest moment of the trail for me. Video doesn't do it justice, but right here you feel like you're looking straight at the rock because you're going down so much. You can see the scars on the rock itself where people have scraped. I have a 3-inch lift and I just knew mine was going to scrape. It didn't. I don't know how, because Toyotas don't have the best approach angles. My two buddies, their lifts aren't quite as high. They're about 2.5, and they did scrape some on it. And I took extremely slow on this, as you can see right there. I mean, it looks like it's your bumper's up against the rock. But if just be wary of that. This is one of the reasons why I would advise people, if their rigs aren't very well equipped and they're not comfortable with a little scraping here and there, to take the left on the route earlier. Well, thank you all for watching this video series. This is part 4 of 4 of the Moab series. With any luck, hopefully we'll be back next year, maybe the year after that. Got a wedding next year, so we'll see what happens next year. We can hit some more of the trails out there. We only got to hit a few trails this time because we were only there for about 4 days. Thank you, my friends that invited me to come with them. Really appreciate it. Like I said earlier, my truck's 3-inch lift with the Dobinson's MRA long travel suspension and 34-inch tires, full skids. So it went pretty well for me, but loved it, had the time of my life, and can't wait to get back and go again. Thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe.